Hey guys, it's time for another episode of the Ranger Legacy Vlog. Today we're going to be talking about episode 3 of Mighty Morphin, Teamwork. Now before we start that, I want to say that because they've liked pictures of mine on Instagram because they're like my three favorite cast members of the original Power Rangers series, David Yost, Jason David Frank, and David Fielding will be getting their own episodes of the show. Specialty episodes, if you will. And also, David Yost recently liked something I put out on Twitter. I just want to acknowledge that. If you want to see it, go to Ranger Legacy 00 at Twitter. On Twitter. And moving on from that, let's jump right into the episode. Now, Zordon says teenagers with attitude in the opening of the show. He never once actually says that in the show when he's telling Alpha to form the team. At least I don't think he does. Kimberly and Trini are at their school trying to petition to get a dump site closed down, which we later learn in the episode the dump site is actually Rita's personal dump site. To lure the Power Rangers into this episode just to tie it together. Rita's monsters are essentially word association. Trini and Kimberly are trying to stop pollution, so Rita says the words, "My pollution will destroy the world." It's like because she can see them, she just takes their problem of the week and makes a monster out of it, which is what the American version of Power Rangers was, essentially. The boys flake out when they want them to go with them to the dump site, which is ultimately just setting up for the episode to be like a girl power episode. But moving on from that, Bulk and Skull have a new friend in this episode that's like a David Bowie looking, could be a dude, girl. It's just a weird character. It felt like it needed to be brought up. Bulk and Skull are clearly homophobic or closeted gay in the show, because when they hug each other, they freak out like it's the worst thing that could ever happen to either one of them. And then we go to the command center after the whole Bulk and Skull homophobic moment of the episode. And we see that Zach is teaching Alpha hip hop keto, which is Zach's fighting style, but apparently Alpha just wants to learn it to dance. When we see that Kimberly and Trina are fighting putties, Alpha says the words "dudettes in trouble," which to me just seems like the most racist or sexist thing a robot could say, or anybody could say, really. And now for the monster, this week's episode was the Minotaur monster, which I'm pretty sure they just called him the Minotaur. He didn't have like a weird name to him. He was actually pretty badass. It took them using the power weapons to defeat him. The Megazord couldn't even beat him. Zordon clearly hides things from the Rangers when it comes especially to the power weapons in this episode. But he also wants the girls to hook up with the team, which, yes, I know he actually meant meet up with them, but for some reason the writers thought hook up was a better way to put it. So, there's that. And I said about the power weapons. The power weapons, each one has their own weapon that's specific to their character. Billy gets the power lance, which is basically a bow staff that breaks into two parts. Kimberly gets the power bow, which is a pink bow and arrow. Jason gets the power sword because he's the leader. Power axe goes to Zach, which out of the 5 power weapons, before we got the dragon dagger and then later on the White Ranger sword, the power axe to me was the most badass weapon. And then we have the power daggers that belong to Trini, which are basically just daggers that glow yellow. And as I said before, the Minotaur monster couldn't be beat by the Megazord, but could be beat by the, I guess you'd call it fusion cannon, that they make out of the 5 weapons, which doesn't make sense to me in one lick. But then at the end of the episode, we got our obligatory, they're back at the school, so on and so forth, teenage normal life ending that they think we have to slip into every episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Anyway, that's all for this episode. See you on the next episode when I discuss my top 5 favorite Yellow Rangers. And as always, may the power protect you.